Okay, let's go ahead and interface. And this is Steelers from yesterday. And let's go ahead and get the business out of the way and whatnot. And let's see. Let's go ahead and do roll call and say, I'm Walt. I'm glad I'm in the New Year's and I don't take anything for granted or whatnot. So that's how that goes. And then, so this guy here is doing axe throwing, right? So, I have no idea what we're interfacing on now. It's a Twitter blog, a blog. Now they say, what is a blog, right? What is the difference between a blog and a vlog? The White House, and this is the guy who works out. Obviously, he did his cardios and whatnot, and he's resist. But what I just said was a vlog, a blog on snacks, right? Do a word search. Fantastic year. For those not suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. Now that could be a thesis statement right there. Trump derangement syndrome. Now let's do a vlog, and correlate that to Trump derangement syndrome. Now, what could that be? So now you take it slow right there. You take it real slow, and that's about at least 1,000 words.
I just want to wish you a very, very happy New Year. It's going to be a great year. Complicated,
that's 1,000 words.
But great.
So you just be silent.
I'm fighting for you. We're going to win. We're going to win all the way. We're going to win at everything we do. So
that's him. That's what he's doing. Because 219 is what it is. And what he's saying right now, he's
everything is going to be so beautiful.
This is what he's doing.
CNN's Jessica Dean joins me now from the White House, and Jessica, there were a lot of messages from the president.
Let's go ahead and look at the correspondence here, and let's correlate that with ideas of blogging, or now they say vlogging. They put a new spin on it, and derangement syndrome, so-called Trump derangement syndrome, right? So the computer, I'll tell you like this: the computer is an ever-growing thing. You can label it as blue, you can label it as infinity, but it is an ever-growing thing that you cannot stop. For example, I chose to stop Instagram because if I chose not to stop there,
there has never been an administration,
and that's what it is, right?
That's done more.
It's always going to be something else. It's always
in the first 2 years of office. Our economy is doing great.
And so,
wages are rising for the first time
okay,
in many years.
President Trump,
people are getting more money. They're working one job instead of two or three.
Talk over them, right? Now let's go ahead. Let's go intersect that with Western civilization and whatnot, and say, oh, there's tariffs against Eastern philosophies and whatnot, right? And such and such. And there is a G8 summit that includes Germany, France, Russia, such and such, right? So what do you say of that? And then you have other countries and such and such. Well, I learned when I was in community college, just to put a personal spin on myself, to give an introduction to myself, is that, I myself was like envious of the idea that, man, I'm not in control of this world or whatnot. And and that was kind of like ignorance on my part, just to be so naive of the idea, or to think beyond that scope. And honestly, I don't really think beyond that scope. But let's say, in all fairness, right, I was like, damn, man, that makes me kind of jealous. You feel me? And then I learned to accept it, because what am I supposed to do? What am I going to do? Put together, because I'm not an anti-American, first of all. But then again, at the same time, with a struggling idea of it, was the whole thing of it, right? Beyond what they're talking about of introductions of the panel, right? Of the round table there. So, I think to myself and say, okay, well, you have to be disciplinary or whatnot, and you have to be such and such and such, right? So, and at the same time, and what she's saying is basically just calm down, because they say, oh, you're a certified Uncle such and such, right? Or such and such, right? Because you like dogs, right? Or something. And I don't put it on dogs, you know what I'm saying? Because I just automatically like dogs. Maybe they call me a so-called labeled a model soul or whatnot, right? But the thing is, if you look at the timeline of history, and I'm not going to go into it because I went into it myself and put another personal spin on it, is I looked up in Carter, right? They say, oh, they rewrote history, such and such in Carter. Law started in Italy. Capitalism started amongst the Jewish people, and that alone, those two topics alone, you know what I'm saying? It just kind of like is in Western civilization itself. Okay, man, you get.
Lingering question.
so you go ahead and let that gel in your mind, right, with those two ideas, right? And you look at yourself and you say something like Rock would say, is know your role, and you don't say that too harshly, right? Because on strengths, because, you know what I'm saying? I went to community college and I had to get financial aid, and they're like, we want the demographic, right? And I go on tangents and whatnot, and look at what she's saying, though, right? Look at what she's saying, though, right? Behind the ignorant stuff I say. And so look at all the bickering and like all this stuff she said, and look at all the crab natures of the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying like that, but it is almost conflicting and almost self-destructive. It is to be such an idea. Now, of course, there was progressive movements in the Obama era. Okay, you cannot deny that at all, and it's an understatement to say even to try to say you're denying that, or just even as a statement, it's an understatement. Okay, so let's use leverage though in a sense as American citizens and say, oh, you know, I'm such and such, I'm within the range of fluidity of whatever it is that, right? Okay, but this guy's the head of courts, right? And here's this guy, right? And he's like, oh yeah, you know, you had to diss me real quick and stuff, and such, and I'm never at the table, right? We're the invisible minority, whereas China wants to put up a moon or whatnot. You know, and everybody gets nationalistic. Not everybody. Not just somebody from West Africa. Not just somebody from East Africa. And not just somebody from South Africa. Not just somebody from Vietnam. Not just somebody from Laos. Not somebody from India or Pakistan. You feel me? Everybody gets nationalist. You know what I'm saying? So when they feel a diss of some sort, they're like, wait, hold on, I took a little cold of that. You know what I'm saying? But this, and so the correlation, what I'm trying to say is social responsibility comes with a responsibility that's reciprocating amongst people that say, oh, I don't want to be called white, I want to be called Caucasian and stuff like that. That's fine because the compromise there is, you know, the whole thing of it is like the core, and you correlate that whole gel, let that gel in your mind, that whole idea, and say, okay, it can be a cooperative upward spiral of a system, okay, whereas you know who's in the courts, and you don't have to point it out so hard, but if it gets pointed out so hard, then you have to point it out so hard. So that's the whole struggle of the idea of the thing, and I don't think a peacekeeper, and that's all I have to say about that. You let that gel in your mind and say, you know, a facilitator of some sort, something, and that's it, dog. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Not dog on him, but you know what I'm saying? But and that's it. That's all I have to say on that, you know.
Totally throughout the first years in office, but if it starts to go,
and you don't want to call this guy Chris Rock, right? Because he's not Chris Rock, right?
Yeah, I think,
and you don't want to say such and such. But I'm within a say I'm the oldest profession in the book, right? Okay, here you go, while chastising yourself, right? And stuff. Okay, now we want you to play the medium between these two polarizing such, as you say, right? As you learned in school, right? Okay, the difference of okay, the difference of whereas even like Hebrews, well, you can't tell the difference of differences, right? So that's my own alibi. But I'm just saying, in general, if you say, well, we want you to facilitate this, but we want to call you this at the same time, I'm like, wait, hold on, player, I need a little raise or something. You need to give me an increase, you dig? You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about it. And it sounds like that because that's the melting pot of the United States, of how the jargon is, of the semantics are. It's like, you know, that pay me, you feel me? And that's how that goes. And that's the reality of the United States. And that's in a nutshell, if you will.
Said last night about Elizabeth Warren, who announced that she was dating an explorer.
So.